All right, so today we are going to do a tour of the neighborhood of Haddow, which is also located in the Terwillegar Riverbend area in southwest Edmonton. On the north side, it's bordered by Henderson Estates, and the main roads to get into Haddow are essentially Haddow Drive, which connects with Terwillegar Drive, and you can also get to it from Riverbend Road, which is the road that also turns into 23rd Avenue. So Riverbend Road connects with both Terwillegar Drive and same thing with Haddow Drive. So it's a nice neighborhood in the southwest edge of the city, and it's basically bordered by Henderson Estates on the north, like I said, Terwillegar Drive on the east. It follows along Riverbend Road as sort of its northern border, although it's a bit of a winding road. And on the south side and southwest side, it's essentially bordered by Anthony Henday Drive. So it's the last neighborhood in the southwest quadrant of the city that's on the inside of the Henday. After that, you're getting down further into neighborhoods like Windermere and Ambleside. So I really like this neighborhood. It's a great location since you can easily get onto the Anthony Henday, or you can take Terwillegar Drive down to the Whitemud. So you can get to both the other parts of the south side and the west end relatively easily. So we'll be driving around today, taking a look at it, pointing out what kind of houses are in the neighborhood. We'll share some benchmark pricing for you so that you've got a rough idea on what a property might cost in this area. Of course, it's just a benchmark, so it's not going to be exact. It just gives you a rough idea. And we'll tour you around, show you what some of the houses look like from the outside. And if you're thinking about buying or selling a home in Edmonton, feel free to contact me. I am a realtor with Yeg Pro Realty here in Edmonton. You can reach out to me on my cell phone at 780-819-5508, or you can shoot me an email at trevor@trevortardif.com. I'll put that up on the screen so that you can easily grab that information. And yeah, just let me know in the comments if you have any questions about anything. I'd love to help you out. So I'm gonna hop on the road here and we'll start showing you some of Haddow. Right now I'm just leaving the Riverbend Square area, which is one of the closer shopping centers to Haddow. And I just turned onto Terwillegar Drive off of Rabbit Hill Road. So we're not in Haddow yet, but we're gonna be entering Haddow from Haddow Drive first. Seems like the right road to start with since it's called Haddow Drive. So if you were coming in from the Whitemud, this is probably the way that you would take to get to Haddow. You'd come down Terwillegar Drive like this, and then depending on where you're located in Haddow, you'll either hang the right that I've got coming up here onto Riverbend Road, or if you're a little bit further into Haddow, you'll take Haddow Drive. So we will start with Haddow Drive after we cross this intersection for Riverbend Road and 23rd Avenue. There is also this little shopping center here on the right. We did show this when we did our tour of Henderson Estates, I believe. And it's called the Terwillegar Professional Center, I believe. So that was Riverbend Road. And now this is technically Haddow on our right. So there are some houses that border Terwillegar Drive in Haddow. So now we're coming up to Haddow Drive, and I'm gonna take a right. And so Haddow is mostly made up of single family homes, but as you can see here on our left, there is some apartment condos in here as well. It's common for most neighborhoods to have some higher density areas mixed with lower density areas and bigger homes, and they'll usually group the higher density areas closer together. So we'll come to take a closer look at that here in a bit, but for now, I wanted to give you a quick tour through the center of Haddow going along Haddow Drive. Right here we're coming up on Haddow Park. This is the edge of Haddow Park. There's no school in Haddow, but they do have this big park here. There's a believe, a hockey rink slash skating rink on the other side of this townhouse complex. This townhouse complex is actually relatively new. It was developed a little later than the rest of Haddow, so they added this more recently in the last 10 years or so. And once we pass this, we'll be able to see more of Haddow Park. So you can get a better view of the hockey rink there. And here is the playground for Haddow Park. Yeah, so it's located right in the middle of Haddow. There's also another green space here on my left. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but it does connect to the trail system that I believe you can get to the other River Valley trails, like near Henderson Estates, and you can connect to the whole River Valley trail system, whether you want to go, northeast through the trail system through Edmonton, or if you wanted to, you could actually go across and connect into Cameron Heights as well. So we are coming up to the end of Haddow Drive. And this is going to connect basically with that other main way into Haddow. So this is Riverbend Road again here, and we're hitting this Terwillegar Professional Center that we mentioned. And I just forgot that I had planned to turn into the houses there, and I didn't quite make it, so we're gonna go straight through and then we'll turn around. We already gave a quick tour through this professional center in one of our other videos. Like I said, I think it was the Henderson Estates one, so you can check that out. So won't spend too much time on that. But I'm just gonna get turned around and go back into Haddow here. Okay, so now that we're crossing forward, we'll be going back into Haddow. Okay, so we are back in Haddow, and we are going to turn down this road on my left, go into Hunter's Green. We got this little community here. Called Riverside Court. Coming back out, here's some more of these single-family detached homes. These homes are a lot closer to like what the typical type of home or the benchmark home would be in Haddow. And yeah, so even though I mentioned that there's no schools in Haddow, there are quite a few schools not too far away in Terwillegar and Riverbend. The designated kindergarten grade 6 school for Haddow is Brookside. For junior high, it's Riverbend School. And for high school, it's Lillian Osborne School, which is grade 10 to 12. That's just across from Haddow. Basically, you just go right onto Riverbend Road, which turns into 23rd Avenue. You cross over Terwillegar Drive, and you're practically right there at the school for Lillian Osborne, and it's also where the Terwillegar Rec Center is located. And for benchmark values, for a one-story home in Haddow, the benchmark value is $594,500, and that's a detached home with 4 bedrooms, a finished basement, 3 full bathrooms, a double attached garage. It's about 1,554 square feet and built in 2002. Whereas the 2-story benchmark price is $536,900, and that's a detached home with 3 bedrooms, a finished basement, 2.5 baths, a double attached garage, about 1,957 square feet, and built in 2012 as well. So we're back on Haddow Drive, and I wanted to show you a little bit more of these apartments here. Get a little closer to them. So these are some of the apartment condos that are available in Haddow. We'll drive in here so you can get a bit of a better look. So this is called the Tradition at Riverside. So even though it's mostly single-family detached homes, there are some modern apartments in Haddow as well. When it comes to townhouse condos in Haddow, there's a few different complexes. We already drove through that other one that we went through. And here's another one. This is Riverside Gate in Hannah Crescent. So this has got a bit of a mixture of different types of units in here. A lot of them I would describe as townhouses, but they do also have some single level units that are more so in the middle. So some of them have these attached garages, which is closer to what you'd typically see in townhouses. But then there's some of these other units, like on the interior here on our left, that some of them are just one level, almost like apartments, and they might have an exterior garage that they can walk to if they came with one. So a bit of a mixture of stuff in here. And now for the benchmark prices for townhouses. Don't take that to mean that that's what these are going for, but I will share the benchmark information here with you in a moment. So a benchmark townhouse in Haddow would be worth approximately $314,200. It'd be a 3-bedroom townhouse with a finished basement, 2.5 baths, a double attached garage. It would have 1,237 square feet, and it would be built in 2002. Whereas the benchmark apartment would probably be a little bit closer to that other building we just drove past. Would have a value of $209,400. It would have 2 bedrooms, 2 full baths, a single attached garage. I think by that they mean a single stall or underground stall. About 1,067 square feet and built in 2006. Okay, so here's more of the single family homes. Oh, I almost forgot to share that with Haddow, they basically started developing it in the 1990s, and for the most part finished developing it in the mid-2000s, so most of it was done by 2010, with a good chunk of it being early 2000s to 2006 or 7 or 8 kind of thing. There are a few projects that got completed later, like that one in Haddow Park that I pointed out near the beginning of the video. But what I've found with Haddow is, since it's still not too old, like being built in the late 90s and early 2000s, a lot of the floor plans still feel pretty open concept and modern. They're not too far removed from what you might see in brand new homes, and it was more common for them to, make enough room to have a his and her sink in the bathroom in the bigger units, or at least have enough room to add it, an open concept kitchen and stuff like that. Whereas if you look at some of the little bit older neighborhoods that were even like late 90s and were finished by the early 2000s, it's not as common to see those things. So it's sort of a nice middle ground between getting brand new, where you're more likely to get those 0 lot lines and smaller lots and a little bit higher density, but super modern floor plans with all the bells and whistles and everything people like to have in a house these days, and getting something that's in a more established neighborhood where you're still likely to have a little bit more space, a little bit more character, and potentially a better location. Being on the inside of the Henday has a lot of advantages depending on where you work and play and all that stuff. So it's something to keep in mind if you're looking for something that's still pretty modern, but a bit of a better location. Haddow could be a neighborhood you might want to consider. I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but Haddow does also pretty much connect to the river valley as well. I mentioned it was bordered on the north by Henderson Estates. So it also does sort of share part of that river valley connection with Henderson Estates on the west side. So you can really easily get to the river valley system, which is nice. Whereas if you're in more interior parts of Terwillegar, like even Terwillegar Town or McGrath or McTaggart, you're not as close to the river valley. And if you like neighborhoods like Haddow, you might have to be a little bit more patient to find what you're looking for on the market. Like right now, there's probably only a handful of properties listed for sale in Haddow. That's probably if we're including the townhouses and apartments. Right now, it is coming into a pretty hot market where we don't have much inventory in a lot of neighborhoods. So when the nice properties come up, if they're priced right, they can move pretty quickly. And right now there's not a whole lot in Haddow. That is common for older established neighborhoods that are popular, where there's only going to be a given number of people that are willing to sell in any given year. So you might have to be a little bit more patient to find what you want, or potentially be willing to make some trade-offs. As you can see, these are some of the bigger homes in Haddow here. Certainly much bigger than the benchmark around that 2,000 square foot range that we were talking about. We got some nice big houses in here. Not quite as many gigantic houses in Haddow as I would say there is in Henderson Estates. Henderson Estates seems to have a lot more of the really big houses, but get some of that in Haddow as well. Yeah, some of these just have beautiful curb appeal. We're kind of in the northwest corner of Haddow right now. We're just about getting to that line where it borders with Henderson Estates. I'll show you guys the border of that real quick. Basically to my left right now, if I kept going down that road, it would turn into Henderson Estates, and the border is essentially the power lines and the walking trail there that connects down to the river valley. So not going that way, so we're going back into Haddow here. That should give you a pretty good idea on what Haddow kind of looks like and the types of houses that are in there. If you're considering a move, whether it's to Haddow or anywhere in Edmonton, particularly on the southwest side, I love to work in the southwest side, give me a call. We can do a free strategy call. I'll actually put a link in the description, so if you wanted to book a quick call with me and I can review your plans to buy or sell a home this year, or even if you think you're further out than that, we can hop on the phone for about 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Let me know kind of what your plan is, and I can point out some opportunities to you that are specific to not just your budget, but also specifically where you're looking and what's going on in those local market areas. As you know, real estate is pretty local, so what's going on in Haddow is a little bit different than what's going on in Terwillegar town or Windermere or somewhere on the north end of the city. So it is very specific that way. So I recommend that if you're thinking about buying or selling in 2022 to go look for that link in the description and book a free call with me, and I'll just review your plans and we can go from there. We're just crossing over Terwillegar Drive right now. I wanted to show you how close you are to the rec center. So the rec center is going to be coming up on my left, and that's also essentially where Lillian Osborne High School is located as well. And on our right is actually Terwillegar town, which I showed in one of my other neighborhood tours. I'll put a link to that one so you can check that out as well if you want to check out Terwillegar town. It's another great neighborhood. Terwillegar town has got a lot more starter home prices than Haddow. Haddow, generally you're getting a little bit higher on your entry into the detached homes there because they're a little bit bigger. Whereas Terwillegar town, it's got a larger mix of properties, so you might find, you will find some cheaper single-family homes in Terwillegar town versus Haddow. So, so we're just turning onto the road here. It's going to be the school on our right, and coming up right after that, this red building is the rec center, so the Terwillegar Community Rec Center. They've got a good pool there, whole bunch of other facilities, workout facilities, all types of stuff for sports. So it's one of the most modern rec centers in Edmonton. Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and check out one of my other videos. Like over to my left or my right, there'll be some videos that you can click on to check out some of our other videos that I think you'll find useful, and go from there. So thanks for checking it out.